सरने
Yes,
बोला
sir,
था.
please.
Okay, okay. So I'm going to start after 5 minutes. Okay, let's take 5 minute break. Okay. So those who are absent in last lecture, we have discussed the few questions like write a program to count the number of characters in a file. So within 2 minutes, I'm going to discuss the solution of this question once again so you can understand. We need one file pointer. I want to count the number of characters in a file. For that, you need to open file in read mode. Okay. For that, you need one file pointer. File is a inbuilt data type. You can provide any file pointer name like file1, file2. We need to follow similar rules you are following for naming of the normal variables. Okay. Then the I is a temporary variable to count the number of characters. I is declared as an integer because the number of character is nothing but integer. So I is declared as an integer and initialized with a zero value. Fp equal to fopen b.txt r. So fopen needs two arguments. First argument is name of the file. Second argument is mode of the operation. There are multiple modes. Right now we are going to use R mode to open file in read. R stands for read. Now if fopen can open a file, then fp have a non-null value. If fopen cannot open file, then fp have null value. If fp stands for the name of the file pointer. Okay, if fp equal to null, then you can do this. So you can observe this type of message: a file cannot be opened. Otherwise, you can do different tasks. So here in else, suppose we have a address stored inside the fp for this particular file. So we have a non-null value. In that case, the compiler will enter inside body of else part. The first statement is while. Now we have a test condition. This is the complete test condition in which we have a multiple parentheses. So we need to evaluate parentheses first, inner parentheses first. So inner parentheses is like this: ch equal to get c fp, read one character from a file. If you open any file, then by default your cursor would be in the first position. For example, like here, the cursor would be here and you need to read first character using this statement. So if that character is not equal to end of file, EF stands for end of file character, then the compiler is going to increment value of I plus plus. So this way we can count the total number of character inside a file, and we can print the value of I using printf statement. Okay, so this type of example we have discussed in the previous lecture. Based on that, we have discussed second question, third question. Now quickly write a program that appends one file at the end of another file.
Sir,
At the yes, any doubt?
sir, your screen is not visible.
Okay, sorry. Uh, other students, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Then who has difficulty to see screen?
Sir, MS014.
Uh, please join once again.
Okay, sir,
Um,
I will rejoin.
okay, okay. Can you see screen?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. So let's discuss the next question. Write a program that appends one file at the end of another. Now the question is, we want to append data of one file. Okay, we want to append some new data at the end of the existing file in current working directory. So for that, write a program that append one file at the end of another file. Okay. So the question is, we want to append data of one file at the end of another file. So we need two file pointer. The file pointer, first file pointer fp, second file pointer fp2. You are going to open one file in read mode, okay, and the second file in append mode. So if you open second file in append mode, for example c.txt, okay, c.txt, you are going to open this file in append mode. Your cursor would be in the last position. Okay, last position. Now fp equal to null. So compiler, if compiler can open this file, then the value of fp is not equal to null. So in that case, we are going to read one character from the b.txt. Why one character? One character from b.txt, because getC function use fp file pointer. Now the fp file pointer is associated to b.txt, and that file we have opened in read mode. So one character is going to be read from b.txt. Now we have similar data. Let me change. Okay, and if that character is not equal to AF, then the compiler is going to print that character inside second file. Why second file? Because I have used fp2. fp2 means this c.txt is associated to file pointer 2, and we have opened that file in append mode. If we open file in append mode, then our cursor would be at this particular location in the last position. Okay, So this way we can append data of one file into another. Now let's check the c.txt. Okay, you need to close this file and once again open. So now you can see we have added the data from b.txt into c.txt. Actually, we have appended data of b.txt into c.txt. Any doubt in this solution?
સર
Any
આપણે
doubt?
સર આપણે જ્યારે કોપી કરીએ ત્યારે ખાલી ચેન્જ થોડુંક શું હોય?
What is the difference between copy and appending? Am I right?
યસ સર.
If we copy, here the third question is what copy the content of one file into another. So for example, if I make copy of c.txt, let me create copy, control C, control V. Now if you make copy, then the another file will be exactly replica of original file. Yes or no? Here in appending, we are adding data. We are adding new data at the end of file. What we can add? We can add anything. Now, as per question, the last question, we need to add data of one file into another file. We need to append data of one file at the end of another. So that's the difference between appending and copy. Am I clear?
યસ સર.
Okay. Okay. Any another doubt in the solution? Hello.
सर
નો સર.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
सर इसमें इंक्रीमेंट ऑपरेटर क्यों नहीं यूज होता है? मतलब आई मतलब कुछ ऐड करने के लिए, मतलब सेकंड पॉइंट पे कर्सर कैसे जाएगा? मतलब एक बार
Yes. Yes. That's an interesting question. Suppose let's say how compiler is going to write something. For example, the original data is ABC and the data of b.txt is df. So put C. Okay, if you open this file in append mode, your cursor would be in the last position. Now compiler is going to read something from the b.txt. Assume that the content is def. Okay, content is def for the b.txt. Compiler read one character from the b.txt, which is what d. Now put c ch comma fp2. So you are going to, what is the value of ch? D. You are going to put c means you are going to write one character d. Now your cursor is here, so compiler is going to write d. Now if you see, after writing d, your cursor would be in the next position. Right or wrong? Right or wrong?
यस सर.
So that's why we are not using any increment operator. By default, your cursor would be in the next position. Am I clear?
सर बट रीडिंग फाइल में तो मतलब आप
Even in reading, let's say you want to read something. So after reading A, obviously your cursor would be in the next position.
ओके सर.
Yes or no? Huh? So this is true for both put C and get C. Your pointer position would be incremented by compiler after doing some task. Let's say if you want to read A, then after reading A, your cursor will be in the next position. Otherwise, you cannot read B. Yes or no? Similarly, after writing D, if you want to write something, let's say E, then your cursor will be in the next position. Okay. So this is the mechanism that put C and get C, this both function follows. Am I clear?
यस सर.
Okay. Okay. Now let's discuss the another two new function, put W. The put W function is used to write integers to the file. Put C and get C, we are using character type variable. Here in put W and get W, we are going to use integer type variable. The syntax of put W function is return type is integer, put W, name of the function, which receive two argument. Type of first argument is integer or integer variable, and type of second argument is file pointer. Type of second pointer is argument is file pointer. Okay, the put W function takes two arguments. First is an integer value to be returned to the file, and second is file pointer where the number will be written. Okay, the put W function writes the word. Now this is interesting. Write the word W to the output stream at the position at which the file offset, if defined, is pointing. What do you mean by this statement? We will discuss with one example. Right now, focus on the syntax. The syntax is it takes two arguments. The first argument is integer value or integer variable. The second argument is file pointer. Upon successful completion, put w return 0. So if put w can write one integer inside a file, then put w will return 0. Okay, otherwise a non-zero value is returned. Get w. This function reads a word from the string, or in layman language you can say get w function reads a integer, okay, from a file. Now syntax is int is a return type, get w is a function name, and it needs one file pointer. It needs one file pointer. Upon successful completion means if get w can read one integer from a file, get w returns the next word from the input stream pointed to by stream. If stream is at the end of file, the end of file indicator for the stream is set and getW returns EOF. Now to understand this getW and putW, let's discuss with small example. Then we will discuss your doubts. So for example, the I is declared as integer, value held by I is 1, j is declared as an integer, value held by j is 2, k is declared as an integer, value held by k is 3. Num is temporary integer variable. fp is declared as a file pointer. With help of fp, I am going to open file in write mode. Okay, so now why write mode? Because I want to write few integers. So put w in parenthesis I comma fp. So in this case, the compiler is going to write 1. Compiler is going to write 1. Then in this, for this line, compiler is going to write 2, and then for this line, compiler is going to write 3. Okay, then you are closing this file. You are closing this file. Now I want to read this particular file once again. So I am going to open this file in read mode. Okay, in read mode. Now while while we have one while loop, the test condition is num equal to get w fp. So we have a two parentheses. We need to evaluate inner parenthesis first. With help of get w function, you are going to read one integer from a file. Which file? Test.c. Why? Because you are using fp file pointer which is associated to test.c, and this file has been opened in read mode. Okay, so we are going to read one integer from file. That integer will be stored inside num. Now if that integer is not equal to EOF, that integer is not equal to end of file character, so in that case compiler will enter inside body of while loop. If that character or that integer is equal to EOF, compiler skip execution of the while loop. Okay, now let's discuss this with execution. So here you can see, first I'm going to write one inside this file pointer fp. I'm going to write second inside file pointer, I'm going to write second inside test.c. Then I'm going to write 3 inside test.c. Then I'm closing this file. Okay, I have opened this file in read mode. I'm going to read one integer from a file. If that integer is not equal to EOF, then printf data in test.c file is %d. What is the value of num in first iteration? In first iteration, value of num is 1. Why? Because I have stored 1 first inside a file. Then I have stored second. Then I have stored third inside a file. So that in this sequence we are going to observe the output. Okay, the data in test.c file is 1, data in test.c file is 2, data in test file is 3. Okay, any doubt in this example? How to write integer and how to read integer using getW and putW function. Hello.
No, sir.
Okay. Now let's discuss these two lines. What do you mean by stream? What do you mean by stream? Okay. So we have discussed this. Now let's observe test.c first. Can you observe any number inside test.c? Can you observe any number?
No, sir.
Okay. Why? Because this is not written in your book. Because here get w and put w write complete word. Word means 16 byte or 32 byte. That depends on your machine. Okay. This is out of your syllabus. But for your information, compiler is going to write integer in form of word. Okay. In form of word. That's why you cannot observe the integer. Am I clear? Am I clear about this statement? Hello.
सर एक बार रिपीट करिए.
Okay. Uh, Computer is going to store integer in form of word. Word means to store integer, how many bytes we need? How many bytes we need? 2 bytes, na? Two
Yes, sir.
bytes. Yes. But in your computer systems, okay, word means we need 4 byte. If you are using 32-bit machine, if you are using 64-bit machine, then we need 8 byte. That depends on machine. That's why nothing is written in your book. Okay, about this. Okay, તમારી બુકમાં કશું get w and put w માટે નથી લખ્યું, just example આપ્યું છે. Okay, but if you observe, if you execute this code, then you are not going to observe anything inside this file because this data is written in form of word. Okay, and that's why here you can see we have this type of word stream and this word. Okay. Okay, am I clear about this get w, put w, and this technical difference between get c and get w?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you use get c and put c function, you can read each character inside a file. But if you use get w and put w, you are not going to read any character inside a file. The data is written. Here you can see data is written, but we cannot observe this data in normal text application. Okay. Now observe this. Predict the output of program. Predict the output of program. Here in previous case, I am using put w, okay, and get w. Here I am using put c and trying to store 1, 2 and 4, these different values inside this particular file test.c. Now I am trying to read these numbers using get w. Using get w, you need to predict the output of program. Let's execute so you can observe the output. Can you tell me why you are observing nothing on output screen? Because we have some data in this test.c file. Let's check test.c. You can see we have this data 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, and that we have stored using putc function. Okay. So now we can read this data using normal text application like Notepad, but we cannot use the getW function. Why? Because this data is stored. If you use putW, then this data is stored in form of word, and getW function is going to read one word and extract the integer. Here you are using putc function. So here the data is stored in form of character, not in form of word. Word means 4 byte. Character means 1 byte. One character means 1 byte. Two character means 2 byte. Cannot read this data and you cannot observe anything on your output screen. Am I clear? Am I clear about this? Why you are not observing output? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So I'm going to
Sir,
provide
can
the
you explain that again?
okay. Here putc function. What is your putc function? What is your putc function? Hello. If you are asking some question, you should know something. What is your putc function?
Sir, to put a character.
Yes, to put one character inside a file. You can put and you can observe this data is written inside a file. Okay. Now character means what? You are putting one character. You are writing one character means 1 byte. Okay. Here getW function reads a word, a set of 4 byte. Now and then extract the integer from that word. But here your data is stored in form of character. That's why the getW function cannot read this data properly. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, if we try to read four characters, then we can read or not?
No, we cannot read. The data is completely different. Okay. For in layman term, what you need to remember, if you are writing integer using putw, then you can read using getw. Am I clear? Remember this statement.
Yes, sir.
If you store integer with help of putw function, then you can read. Otherwise, reading of those integer is not possible. Okay. Okay. Yes. Now somebody asked about this EOF. What is the value of EOF? Okay. End of file. So in last lecture we didn't discuss because we need to discuss getW and putw first, then we can discuss this. Okay. Now observe the code. Suppose I want to write the three different integer. This is same code. Okay. I'm going to write three integer. Here I'm going to open that file in read mode. I'm using getW function. Now my question is, when execution of while loop with when compiler is going to stop execution of while loop, when compiler is going to stop execution of while loop.
When it determined that there is a EOF.
Yes. So value of num, yes or no, value of num is equal to EOF. At that time compiler is going to stop execution of the while loop. Okay. So what I have added, I have added only this statement to observe the EOF value, end of file value. Okay. Here you can see -1. Here you can see -1. Am I clear? So what is the value of EOF? -1. -1. Okay. Similarly, let's say if we use getC, if we use getC to read content of b.txt file, okay, then when compiler is going to stop execution of while loop, when compiler is going to stop execution of while loop,
CH equal to EOF.
yes, ch equal to EOF. So I am using this statement to print the value held by ch variable. You can see what is the value of EOF?
Minus 1.
Yes, it's
-1.
-1. So now you are clear. Value of EOF character is -1 if you print using printf statement for getC or getW. Okay.
Sir, what is the use of that %C?
%C, basically I want to print that EOF, but I cannot print. That's why, like here you can see output. Okay. I want to print EOF character, how it looks, but I cannot print using this. That's why I have used this particular statement. आपको ईओएफ कैसे दिखता है वो पता चला नहीं चलेगा ना, क्योंकि यहाँ पे प्रिंटेज ही नहीं हो रहा है. Yes or no? Okay, that's why I have used this particular statement in both case. Percentage C for get C function and percentage C for this get W function. Okay. In both case, you are not going to observe anything for this EOF character. Okay. Now we have another function fprintf fscanf. Quickly, what is the difference between printf statement and fprintf statement? In printf statement, we have a control string and list. In fprintf statement, we have a three argument. First is a file pointer, then control string, and then list. That's the difference between fprintf and printf. Fprintf stands for file printf. Okay, fscanf stands for file scanf. So in printf you have this mechanism. In fprintf you have a additional argument, and first argument by default is a file pointer. Okay. In fscanf, in scanf we have a control string and list. In fscanf we have a one file pointer, and these remaining string values remain as it is, control string and list. Quickly, let's discuss with one example. Suppose I want to print, sorry, I want to store a few things inside a file. So if I use printf, then I can print few things on output screen. If I use fprintf, then I can write something inside a file. For example, suppose d.txt is there. I'm going to use fp as a file pointer. With help of fopen function, I'm going to open d.txt in write mode. Okay, you need to open file in write mode because you are going to use fprintf function. Okay, if you are using fscanf, then you need to open file in read mode. Okay, so here the first statement is fprintf fp percentage c the character a. So what I want to I want to write character A inside d.txt. Then I want to write character B inside d.txt. Then I want to write the C character inside d.txt. Then I am closing this file. So this is the use of fprintf. Now if I do, okay, if I do this statement, so now you can understand the difference between fprintf and the printf. We need only file pointer as a first argument if we are using fprintf. Otherwise, the remaining structure remain as it is. Okay, so here you can see, if you are using printf statement, then A is written on your output screen. If you are using fprintf, then these characters are written inside d.txt file. A, B, C. Okay, this way we can write using the fprintf. Any doubt how to use fprintf statement? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So now we have used fprintf statement to write something inside a file. What is the difference between putc and fprintf? In putc, you can write only one character. Here you can write multiple characters also. Like in printf, can you print multiple characters on your output screen? Can you write this statement for printf?
Yes, sir.
So similar thing we can write for the fprintf statement also. So let's execute code and observe the output. So we have stored A, then space, then B, and then C. Okay, if you are difficulty, let's change it. So we have stored A, then space, then B, then D, and then C. Okay. So now you can easily understand the use of printf function. How to use scanf function? How to use scanf function? Scanf means using scanf you can scan something through keyboard. Similarly, scanf you can scan something from a file. So you need to open that file in read mode. You cannot open that file in write mode. So to open that file in read mode, we need to use R as a second argument. Okay. Then scanf. In scanf, what we are doing? Let's say we want to scan one character. Then we can use like this, where ch is declared as a character variable, and in scanf you are doing this. We need one additional argument. The type of first argument must be file pointer. Remaining thing remain as it is. Okay, so you can scan one character from a file. If you understand this discussion, what will be my output for this program? If content of this file is this, if content of this file is this, what will be my output? Hello, what would be my output? ABC?
A.
Only A. Yes, you can scan only one character. Okay, with help of normal scanf, you can scan one character. Similarly, here you can scan only one character from a file. Okay, so you can see I can scan only one character. If I want to scan multiple character, I need to write this statement multiple times. Okay, and finally you need to close this file. Now you can see I can read A as a first character, space as a second character, B as a third character, D as a fourth character. Okay, because I have used fscanf 4 times in my program. Okay, can programmer use any loop statement along with printf, fscanf? Sorry, minor mistake. Fscanf function? Yes. Okay, so how to use for loop? How to use for loop, while loop with help of printf and fscanf? For that, we are going to discuss these three questions. Write a program to count the number of characters in a file using fscanf function. In previous case, we have used getC function to count the number of characters. Same problem we are going to solve with fscanf function. fp is declared as a file pointer, ch is declared as a character, I is used to count the number of characters inside a file. So the I equal to 0, I is declared as an integer and initialized with a 0. A.txt is open in read mode with the help of fopen function. Now in previous case we are using getC. Now understand the difference between getC. Yes, we have used getC function like this. Ch equal to getC, in parentheses fp is not equal to euf. Now we are going to use fscanf function. Fscanf function. Okay, we are going to read one character from a file, and that character we are going to compare with EOF. That's the difference between the getC and fscanf. Okay, so we are reading one character from a file and we are comparing with EOF character. If first character is not equal to EOF, we are going to print that character on output screen using printf statement, and the value of I is updated by compiler. Now value of I become 1. This way we can calculate the total number of characters inside a file using fscanf function. Okay, here the name of file is a.txt and there are 11 characters. 11 characters. Any doubt in this?
No, sir.
Why you are getting 11 characters? DEF, LMN, IJK, total 9 characters are there. Why you are getting 11 characters?
So two spaces.
Space, white space.
There is only one space. Where is additional space? One space between def and element
So one
what?
is null character.
Null character. Null character means nothing.
Sir, line change.
सर
Yes,
न्यू
slash
लाइन
n.
का एक
Slash.
कैरेक्टर माना गया.
Yes, you are right. Slash n. Slash n is a one character. Okay. So D, E, F, first three characters, space, fourth element, 6, 7, 8. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth character would be slash n. Because of slash n character, you are going to print something in new line. Okay, so this way 8 plus 3, total 11 characters are there inside a file. Okay, any doubt how to use fscanf function to count the number of characters inside a file? Hello, any doubt in this solution?
No, sir.
Okay. Write a program to count the number of lines in a file. Write a program to count. Okay, so what I need to do here? What I need to do here? Can you give me logic?
So we will count slash n character.
Yes. Okay, same thing I have did. Okay, so in previous solution, just I have modified this line. If the value of that character, okay, we are scanning one character from a file, that character is stored inside ch variable, and we are comparing that with slash n. If value of that character is slash n, then we are going to increment I plus plus, we are going to increment value of I. Okay, and then we are going to print that value. Okay, now observe the difference. Why I am using I plus 1? Why I am using I plus 1? Suppose we, okay, here you can observe we have a two line. Okay, then how many times slash n will appear for this file? How many times slash n will appear?
One.
One time, but total number of line is 2. Yes or no? That's why I have used I plus 1. Okay, this is the logic behind using I plus 1 in this line. Okay, so if I do this now, can you observe slash n? Can you observe slash n for this file?
No,
Yes
sir.
or no? No. So, but this is what one line, na? This is one line. So that's why I have used I plus 1. Okay, I plus 1. Okay, so I have modified the code for a.txt. Now the content of a.txt is only def. There is no new line character inside a file. So that's why the total number of line is 1. 0, value of I is 0, 0 plus 1, that would be 1. Okay, this way we can count the total number of lines in any file. Okay, any doubt in this solution?
No, sir.
I'm going to take few additional minutes to discuss very small example so you can practice in weekend. Okay. Okay. Write a program to count the number of words. Write a program to count the number of words in a file. So how to count number of words? With help of this while loop, you are going to read one character. Now to count the number of words, okay, you are comparing that character with space or slash n. Okay, now there are different cases. For example, in this case def, there is no space, no slash n character present inside a file. Okay, but still we need to consider this def as a one word. That's why even though value of I is 0, I have printed 0 plus 1. So total number of word is 1. Now second case, suppose I have a two word like this. Okay, then in that case, when compiler reads this space in ch variable, at that time value of I is updated by compiler. So now value of I become 1. Value of I become 1. So now 1 plus 1. There are two words in this file. Okay. But why I have used this particular condition? Because suppose if you are pressing enter and you are typing this. Now you can see there is only one space, but there are three words. So how to count this as a word? So I need to add this test condition. Ch equal to slash n. Obviously this would be a new word. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So that's why this is the proper test condition to count total number of words in a file. Okay. Okay. Total number of words is 3. If I change like here, if I remove slash n, then you can observe total number of word is 2. Okay, total number of word is 2. So this way you can use AppScanF. You can use same logic using Gatsby also. Okay. Now there are more than 6 more. We have discussed only 3 more. Today I am going to discuss one additional mode, R plus. R plus mode. Now what is the use of R plus mode? With help of R, we can open file in read mode only. But with help of R plus, we can open file to read something from a file and we can write something inside a file. That's the difference between R and R plus. What is your R plus mode? We can open file to read as well as write inside a file. So the sp.txt, this file is open in R plus mode, so we can read something from a file as well as we can write something inside a file. Okay, this is the test condition to check whether the fopen can open file or not. Then if fopen can open a file, compiler is going to enter inside body of else part. Here we are trying to read one character using the while loop. Okay, if that character is not equal to AF, you can print that character on your output screen using putchr. When execution is over, when execution of this while loop is over, then you can add additional character inside a file using putc statement. Okay, you can use printf also, you can use putw also. Okay, you can use anything to write one character, one integer or few data inside a file in R plus mode. Okay. Now the file sp.txt, the data is okay. We have a similar data. Okay, so the original data is cc. This data is already stored inside sp.txt. So when execution is over, means when compiler reach to end of file character, then the execution of while loop is over. Then I'm going to write 3 at the end of last character. Okay, so I'm going to write 3 in sp.txt. So now you can see cc and 3. Okay, if you execute this code once again, you are going to add another 3. Okay, you are going to add another 3 at the end of file. So this is the use of R plus mode. Any doubt in this mode? R plus.
No, sir.
सर
Yes.
आपने सेकंड टाइम 3 लगाया वो कहाँ लगा?
Once again, please pardon me. What's your question? Second time.
सर सेकंड टाइम जो 3 आया वो कैसे आया सर?
Okay, second time 3. Now just observe here once again. before executing this code, observe the data of this file cc33. Okay, cc33. Now using this f open, I'm going to open this in r plus mode. I'm going to read. Okay, if have open can open this file successfully, then I'm going to read one character. The first character is c. C is not equal to ef. No, then in that case compiler will print c on your output screen. Okay, similarly you can observe this cc33 on your output screen. Any doubt in this discussion? You can observe cc33 using this while loop. Any doubt? Hello?
No, sir.
Okay. Now your cursor would be at this position. After reading this data, your cursor would be in this position. Yes or no? End of file. Okay. Then you are using putc statement. What is your putc statement? You can print one character inside a file. Which file? The sp.txt. Why? Because you have used fp file pointer which is associated to sp.txt file in r plus mode. R plus mode means you can read as well as write something inside a file. So if I execute this code, then I'm going to observe 3 here also, additional 3. 3 times 3 you can observe in this file. Okay. Here you can observe only cc33 which is the original data. Now after reading this, you have reached end of file. Then you are trying to print additional 3 inside a file. Then you are closing this file. Okay. So you are going to observe 3 times 3. Okay. Now any doubt?
Okay, sir.
So if you understand execution of this code, you can easily understand this R plus mode. Okay. Okay. So right now we have discussed only 4 mode: R, W, A, then R plus mode. In next lecture, I am going to use the two different function abseek and rewind. With help of these, I am going to use W plus mode. So before discussing W plus mode, okay, I need to discuss two another new function. Then we will try to complete the chapter, and in another lecture we will try to do complex exercise like printing a mark sheet of our students, or let's say sorting of integers in two different files. This type of a complex exercise we are going to do in the next 2 lectures. Okay.
ओके सर
Okay. Thank you. You can.
पीपीटी शेयर कर देना
Yesterday maybe I have shared this link. Yes or no? आपको शेयर किया था ना yesterday?
Yes, sir. Yes.